With KNOP's Panhandle Roundup, I'm Victoria Kramer. And according to on Wednesday evening press release from the Nebraska State Patrol, in early April, authorities were made aware of a reported assault of a younger child that occurred in Kimball County in 2019. Following the investigation, the subject was identified as Chris Wilson of Kimball. Investigators located the 46-year-old late last week and arrested him, placing him in the Kimball County Jail. And staff at St. Agnes Catholic Elementary School in Scottsbluff were quick to respond to a small fire yesterday. The Nebraska Rural Radio Association reports that the Scottsbluff Fire Department was summoned to the basement of the parochial school Wednesday morning. But prior to first responders arriving, staff put out the fire with a nearby extinguisher, and an investigation determined staff was heating up food and radiant heat caught nearby combustibles on fire. And a man nabbed in a large Kimball County drug bust will avoid prison time. The Nebraska Rural Radio Association reports Andrew Mendoza was caught with nearly 40 pounds of marijuana, a pound of mushrooms, and a loaded handgun following a 2021 traffic stop in Kimball County. In March, a jury found the 25-year-old guilty on a handful of charges, but this week, the California man was sentenced to 36 months of intensive supervised probation and a $5,000 fine. Co-defendant Myra Williamson will appear back in court in late June. And Sydney High School celebrated Law Day late last week with some very special guests, the Nebraska Supreme Court. The High Court heard a pair of cases Friday morning of last week, while in Cheyenne County, Chief Justice Mike Heavican says News Channel Nebraska that touring schools is one of his favorite parts of serving on the Supreme Court, stating in part, quote, "Our principal job is deciding cases and deciding sometimes new laws and what particular case is in front of us," adding the Nebraska Supreme Court's job is to make sure people understand the judiciary and how important an impartial judiciary is to not just the state of Nebraska, but our democracy as a whole, end quote. And now turning to weather, now is meteorologist Justin Kraft. He joins us from the
Thanks, Victoria. Right now on the Panhandle, it looks like mainly cloudy skies with some chances of rain and a slight chance of thunderstorms for the rest of today. Right now, those temperatures in those 50s and 40s, 57 in Ogallala, 47 in Sydney, 43 in Kimball, 46 in Scottsbluff, 46 in Alliance. It looks like those temperatures are going to stick around those 40s and 50s for the rest of today. Winds blowing from the north and northwest at about 8 to 11 miles per hour across the Panhandle. And it looks like for the rest of today, there is a chance of rain and thunderstorms, just a slight chance for the rest of today. And then tomorrow in those mid-60s with mostly sunny skies with the clouds moving through on Friday, and then into this weekend for the Panhandle with temperatures getting up into those 70s with a slight chance of rain and thunderstorms for this weekend in the Panhandle. So that's it from weather. Back to you, Victoria.
Thank you, Justin. And Wheat Belt Public Power District is starting comprehensive power pole cleanup operations in the aftermath of the severe storm that struck the Panhandle early last month. News Channel Nebraska reports that Wheat Belt has enlisted the expertise of a contractor to lead cleanup efforts following the early April storm that left a trail of damage, including more than 1,000 power poles across the service area. And yesterday, Nebraska U.S. Senators Deb Fischer and Pete Ricketts, along with all three Nebraska congressional representatives, including 3rd Congressional Representative Adrian Smith, sent a letter to President Biden in support of Governor Pillen's request for a major disaster declaration for areas impacted by severe storms last month in the Panhandle. Specifically, the request follows storms on April 6th and 7th that affected Banner, Cheyenne, Dawes, Garden, Kimball, Morrill, Scottsbluff, and Sioux counties. The storm that produced freezing rain, strong winds, and blizzard conditions. And now here's sports with John Clanton.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. Local track and field teams from Class D in Chapel on Wednesday, looking to punch tickets into Omaha as the District D9 track and field meet taking place. Here's a look at the event winners on the day. Starting with the ladies, Layton, your district champions, as the Warriors score 88 points to take the top spot. Arthur County a strong second place with 69 points. Meanwhile, on the boys' side, Garden County, your district champions. Eagles score 122 points to take the top spot, while South Platte takes home second with a score of 92. Great job by all the athletes out in Chapel. Local teams in Class C will compete in district action today at Baird High School. Good luck to all of them. That's all from the Sports Desk. Everyone have a great day and see ya.
Thank you, John. And for several months now, the United States Postal Service has been discerning major changes in how mail is processed within not just the North Platte community, but within greater Nebraska as well. This week, the post office shared results of their months-long investigation. This transfer comes after hundreds of Postal Service patrons expressed concerns and dissatisfaction with postal authorities at a public meeting with input from the public earlier this year at North Platte Sandhills Convention Center. However, one Greater Nebraska official is left wondering how sincere that gathering was following this week's announcement.
But that farce of a public hearing they held, which is only a regulatory thing that they process that they had to follow, it shows the hypocrisy of the situation. You know, those were nothing but outright lies that they professed in their strategic plan that this is going to improve service and we'll have dependable mail delivery. Nothing could be further from the truth. And the sad thing about it is they will not be held accountable.
Pearson showing some frustration on behalf of the growing and thriving Lincoln County business community. And lastly, Husker volleyball star Harper Murray's attorney representing her in court yesterday for Murray's arraignment. This comes after being cited with a DUI and being in possession of a fake ID during a traffic stop on April 5th. She is still facing 2 misdemeanor charges for those incidents. The judge did request that Murray appear at her next court date on June 24th. And that's all we have for now. Remember to join us weekdays for the Panhandle Roundup, covering the stories in the Panhandle that matter to you. Have a great day.